Hi everybody, how are you? Here I am again with another part of High 3 book. If you remember, last time we completed Unit 2.1 with a passage about nanofabricators. And Unit 2.2 is also about the future and future uh, inventions and future technology. Let's go to the book and see what we have in this new part. Unit 2.2, around the corner. So, what is meant by around? This phrase, uh, which can be also used with just or right, I mean just around the corner or right around the corner, uh, can be used for talking about time or place. In terms of place, it means near, and in terms of time, it means likely to happen soon. For example, I believe that an astonishing technological revolution is around the corner. I believe that an astonishing technological revolution is around the corner, is going to happen very soon. Well, coming down, we've got a word web about future. Let's talk about different combinations of the word, different words with future. We are going to see what they mean and how they are used in sentences. So, future with a verb. The first one is embrace the future. Embrace the future means to accept the future willingly, accept what will happen in the future. Embrace the future. Uh, Second one is predict the future. Predict means to say what will happen in the future. Predict, or we can say um, foretell, foresee, forecast. Let me write them down. Foretell, foresee, forecast. Also anticipate, anticipate. It can be envisage, envisage again means to think about and contemplate the future. Also, we can say prognosticate, prognosticate, prognosticate. All mean to predict, to talk about future, to say what will happen in the future. For example, uh, for embrace the future, not wanting to undergo the stress of what will happen, we need to embrace the future. If we don't want to undergo or experience the stress of what will happen in the future, we need to embrace it, embrace the future. Or predict or foretell the future. For example, no one can ever predict the future of the world after the advent of nanotechnology. No one can ever predict or foretell the future of the world after the advent of nanotechnology. So, future with uh, adjective. Near future, immediate future, foreseeable future. All of them mean soon. In the near future, in the immediate future, or in the or for the foreseeable future means very soon or as far into the future as you can know. Yeah, all of them mean soon, very soon, fairly soon. For example, we have no plans to sell our house in the foreseeable future, or we have no plans to sell our house for the foreseeable future. All right. So next part includes the adjectives, just the opposite of previous group. Distant, far, remote future. Distant future, far future, remote future means a long time from now. For example, many of our decisions set off extensive long-run chain reactions which make the distant future difficult to predict. Again, many of our decisions set off extensive long-run chain reactions which make the distant future difficult to predict. Future with preposition. For the future, in the future. For the future, for example, what are your plans for the future? What are your plans for the future? In the future, why there is in parenthesis here? It is because in future is a British phrase, in the future is an American phrase. So both are equally correct and possible. So in the future, what will life be like in the future? What will life be like in the future? And a phrase with future, a vision for the future, a vision of the future. For example, the president outlined his vision for the future. The president outlined his vision for the future. Good. Part 1a, look at the word web above and use the information provided to discuss the following questions with your partner. Okay, let's see what we can say, what we can discuss. Question 1, what are your plans for the immediate future? Immediate future, as you remember, means near future. So, what are your... Well, if I want to answer the question, I will say contemplating the immediate future. Well, I can say that I'm going to continue my studies to get a PhD degree, for which I think I will move to another country, seeing as I would like to get more standardized education in that level. That can be my immediate future plan. Question 2. Do you think we can foretell the future? Well, that's a tough question. Well, in order to foretell the future, you need to either have a magic power of prophesy. Question 2. Do you think we can foretell the future? Well, that's a tough question. In order to foretell the future, you need to either have a magic power of prophesying the future or to analyze the present circumstances so that you could predict probable changes in the future. Question 3. Do you think man will be able to settle in other planets in the remote future? Well, this question reminds me of Elon Musk's opinion. He said that with the present progress and developments of technology, the goal of sending and transferring human to Mars in large quantity can't be fulfilled before next 50 years or until next 50 years. Therefore, we need to accelerate the technological development. So I suppose this imagination will one day come true, but no one can say when. I suppose it is achievable. Good. Part 1b, match the words 1 through 6 to the meaning A through F. 1. Tissue. So, tissue is matched with F, but there is a mistake in the definition provided in the book. Instead of saying tissue is the material forming cells, it is just vice versa, you know. Cells form tissues. So we can say tissue or tissues are the material consisting of a group of cells. Tissue is the material consisting of a group of cells. Well, number 2, trial. Before talking about trial, for tissue we can say muscle tissues, brain tissues, nerve tissues, I don't know, lung tissues, etc. For trial, trial can be matched with D, the process of testing. The process of testing to find out whether something works effectively or is safe. For example, clinical trials. Number 3 is approach. Approach matches with a way of dealing with someone or something. Number 4, indefinite. Indefinite. You can find the meaning in B, not clear or defined, not clear or not defined, vague, unclear. Number 5, modify. Modify is defined in C, change slightly. Change something slightly in order to adapt with something. Number 6, dementia. Dementia. The definition is in E, a serious mental disease. A serious mental disease that affects the ability to think, remember, and behave normally. Good. Well, we've got this Surprise and Outshine, the magazine part. I'm going to catch up on this part after we are done with the vocabulary section of next page before listening. So, part 1C. Use the words, or as we will see, use the correct form of the words above to complete the sentences below. Number 1, she will be away for the future. She will be away for the indefinite future. She's not going to be here for an unknown time, unknown period. Number 2, the new drug is undergoing clinical. The new drug is undergoing clinical trials. Number 3, the software we use has been for us. The software we use has been modified for us. Number 4, the most common form of is Alzheimer's disease. The most common form of dementia is Alzheimer's disease. Number 5, Vitamin C helps maintain healthy connective. Vitamin C helps maintain healthy connective tissues. And number 6, she took the wrong in her dealings with them. She took the wrong approach in her dealings with them. Well, part 1D, complete the table below. All right. Well, the first word group in the table is related to permission. Nouns are permission, permit, permissiveness. The verb related to these words is permit. Permit. So please notice the difference in pronunciation and the stress pattern of the word when it is a verb and a noun. Permit with stress on second syllable is the verb permit, and permit with the stress on the first syllable is a noun. So permit as a verb, permit somebody to do something, permit somebody something, which means let somebody do something or allow somebody to do something. Permission, permit and permission are the same. Permit can be official permission to do something. Permissiveness. Adjectives are permissive and permissible. Permissive and permissible. Permissive means not strict. Like in phrases, permissive parents, not strict parents, or permissive society. But permissible means allowable or allowed by laws or by the rules. For example, we can say circumstances do not permit my going with you. Circumstances do not permit my going with you. Permit as a verb and permit as a noun. You cannot enter a military base without a permit. You cannot enter a military base without a permit. Permissive. In the permissive society of the 1960s, anything was possible. In the permissive society of the 1960s, anything was possible. Permissible. It is not permissible for employees to use the official equipment for personal purposes. It is not permissible for employees to use the official equipment for personal purposes. Next word, colonize. Colonize. To get the control of another country. Colonize. Nouns are colonization, colonization, colonialism, colonialism, and colony, colony. Let me write it here. Colony. And also we can think of another noun, which is a person or country. Colonizer. Colonizer. Good. Let me write the words for the first part as well. So the verb was permit, and it is the verb. And the adjectives could be permissive or permissible. Permissible. These are adjectives. Okay. Well, and adjective of the word verb colonize is colonial. Colonial. Colonial is something relating to a country that controls and rules other countries. Colonial. And colonialism is when a powerful country rules a weaker one. We call it istimar. For example, for colonize, for example, Peru was colonized by the Spanish in the 16th century. Peru was colonized by the Spanish in the 16th century. And colonial, the purpose of third world colonies was to make colonial powers rich. The purpose of third world colonies was to make colonial powers rich. Colonial powers, those powerful countries that colonize the weaker ones, for example, in the third world countries like, I don't know, India, Peru, and so on. Good. Next word and the list is reproduce. Reproduce. Reproduce means to regenerate. Regenerate. Copy. I don't know. Produce young. Reproduce. The noun form is reproduction. Reproduction. An adjective is reproductive. Reproductive. For example, reproductive systems, reproductive organs of human or other living things. For example, the turtles return to the coast to reproduce. The turtles return to the coast to reproduce. Next one is disqualify. Disqualify. Another verb in this group can be qualify. Qualify, disqualify. Qualification, and also we can have another noun like disqualification. Qualified and disqualified or unqualified can be adjective forms. So, I'm sorry, I again forgot to write down the words. Let me, so, for reproduce, it was reproduction. Reproduction. And for qualify, qualify. And we can have this qualification and qualify is a verb. Disqualification is a noun, another noun possible in this group. And adjectives can be qualified, this, disqualified, or unqualified. disqualified can refer to as adjectives. Okay. So disqualified, unqualified. But what are the differences between disqualified and unqualified? Unqualified means not having the right knowledge, experience, or education to do something. But disqualified means officially not allowed to do something due to lack of a specific skill or knowledge. For example, we can say, I feel unqualified to criticize this work of art. I don't have enough knowledge. I don't have enough, let's say, expertise, experience, you know, or the right education to criticize this work of art. But for disqualified, he was disqualified from the match. He was not allowed to participate in the match. So, next one, we have construct. Construct. Construct means to build. Construct. Nouns could be construction, construction, building something, and constructiveness, constructiveness. We can also have another noun like construct, construct. You know, again, you have to notice the difference in pronunciation. Construct is the verb, construct is a noun. And the adjective can be constructive, constructive. And adverb is constructively. Well, constructive means useful, helpful. Its opposite is destructive. Destructive comes from destruction, opposite of construction. And the verb is destroy, is opposite of construct. So, let me write the words down here. Well, construction and constructiveness and also construct are the nouns. Construct means an idea that is formed by combining several pieces of information. Construct. So, and also we can have another noun like constructor as a person. And adjective is constructive, means helpful, useful. So, the next one is related to the word prevention. Prevention is the noun, the verb is prevent, prevention. Prevent means to stop somebody to do something. Preventive or preventative are the adjectives. And also we can have preventable as the adjective. And the adverb is preventively. Well, let me write them here. So, Prevent is the verb. The noun is here, and preventive, preventative, and preventable are the adjective forms. Okay, preventative and preventive are both the same in meaning. Preventive measures, for example. For example, while traveling abroad, take preventive measures to avoid illnesses. While traveling abroad, take preventive measures to avoid illnesses. Good. And next one in the list is related to the word impact. Impact. So impact is the verb. Impact means to affect. Noun is again impact with a different pronunciation and a stress pattern. Not pronunciation, let's say the stress pattern is different only. Impact, stress is on second syllable, impact is the verb, but the noun is impact. Impact with a stress on first syllable. Impact. And adjective is impacted. Impacted, which means strongly affected by something. And also impacted can mean you know, when we are talking about a tooth that can't grow correctly and properly because it is under another tooth, we can say the tooth is this tooth is impacted, or the impacted tooth that is affected by another tooth. For example, for the verb impact, her father's death impacted greatly on her childhood years. Her father's death impacted greatly on her childhood years. And last but not least, detect. Detect is the verb. Detect means notice, discover. Noun is detection. Detection means detecting something. And detective is another noun, which is a kind of is a word related to a kind of police officer. And adjectives are detectable and undetectable, which are opposite. Detectable, undetectable. For example, for detect, I can detect signs of improvement in your English speaking. I can detect signs of improvement in your English speaking. All right. So let me write the words that I didn't. So the word related to impact was also impact as a noun, and the other one was detection. Detection again as a noun. Well, good. All right, let's move on with part 1E. Use the correct form of the words from the above table to complete the following sentences. Number 1. The town was first established in times. The town was first established in colonial times. the times during which the country or the town was colonized by another country. Number two, his parents are too, he is allowed too much freedom. He is allowed too much freedom. So his parents are too permissive. Permissive. They are not strict at all. Number three, her speech made a profound on everyone. Her speech made a profound, profound means deep. Her speech made a profound impact on everyone. Impact as a noun. Number four, scientists studied the dolphins. Scientists studied the reproduction of dolphins. Number five, you should always welcome criticism of your work. Welcome here means to gladly accept something. You should always welcome constructive criticism of your work, useful criticism, helpful criticism of your work. Number six, the police were able to take action and avoid a possible riot. The police were able to take preventive action and avoid the possible riot. Riot is when people behave in a violent way on the streets. Number seven, the noise is barely by the human ear. The noise is barely detectable by the human ear. Number eight, he, as a doctor last year. He qualified as a doctor last year. He acquired the qualification, enough qualifications to be a doctor, to be known as a doctor. Number nine, how do you deal with salesmen who won't take no for an answer? How do you deal with disqualified salesmen who won't take no for an answer? It means take no for an answer means to refuse to accept that somebody doesn't want something. Okay. Okay, next part. Question 1. Are you optimistic or pessimistic about the future of the world? Well, optimistic means having positive views about something or seeing the bright side of the matter, and pessimistic being just the opposite means having negative views and seeing the dark side of the matter about something. What will life be like in 2050? What will future houses look like? And how will transportation develop in the future? For these questions, you are recommended to speculate and express your opinions. You can write them, you can talk about them to yourself. Those who are in the class, well, they have opportunity to talk to their teacher or other students, and those who self-study the book can speak, can record their speakings and listen to them and see how they have reacted to the questions. Okay, as I had told you before, now let's go to the magazine part and talk about fun time. Well, All right. So, fun time. Big spender. Big spender. So big spender is used to describe someone who spends a lot of money, a person who is extravagant, a person who spends money lavishly, thoughtlessly. I had my credit card stolen the other day, but I didn't bother to report it because the thief spends less than my wife. Women are famous for enjoying shopping. So it's no surprise when we see and we hear that women spend a lot of money on shopping. Well, I had my credit card stolen. It means I lost my credit card. Someone stole my credit card. Uh, this sentence, I had my credit card stolen, since had is causative and the sentence is a causative sentence, it doesn't mean that I asked someone to steal my credit card. It means my card was stolen. It has a passive meaning. But why do we use this structure, causative, to talk about this situation? We use causatives to express unpleasant situation. For example, I had my leg broken while playing soccer. It doesn't mean I asked someone do it or I deliberately broke my leg. It means my leg was broken and I want to express this unpleasant situation dramatically. That's why the speaker uses causative structure. Well, I had my credit card stolen the other day. The other day means a few days ago, 2 or more days ago. But I didn't bother. I didn't take the trouble to report the loss of card to the police because the thief spends less than my wife. Next one, richest people. Every day I get up and look through the Forbes list of the richest people in America. If I'm not there, I go to work. Forbes is a US business magazine. And how to translate work emails. I have a question. That is not definitely one question. I have 18 questions or more. I'll look into it. Look into means examine the facts about something. But when it is related to work and someone tells you, I'll look into it, it means I've already forgotten about it. I tried my best. It means I did what I could. I did my best. But here it means I did the bare minimum. Happy to discuss further. Here means don't ask me about this again. No worries means you really messed up this time. Take care means this is the last you'll ever hear from me. Good. Well, back to page 28, we will have listening section. Listen to a radio show about future developments and complete the following sentences with no more than 3 words. Okay. I'm going to play the recording and then talk about the questions.
Thank you. In this part of the program, Professor Clark will answer the questions our listeners have asked. The first one is, Could we one day replace all of the tissues in the human body through engineering?
In 1995, there was an article in a science magazine about advances in artificial organ technology. Plastic-based tissues such as artificial skin and electronics that might permit blind people to see. All of these are coming to pass, either as real products or in clinical trials. Over the next few centuries, it is quite possible that nearly every tissue in the body may be able to be replaced by such approaches. Creating or regenerating tissues such as those found in the brain, which is extremely complex and poorly understood, will take an enormous amount of research. The hope is, however, that research in this area will happen quickly enough to help with brain diseases such as Parkinson's and Alzheimer's.
How about space travel? Will we ever colonize outer space?
That depends on the definition of colonize. If landing robots qualifies, then we've already done it. If it means having humans live elsewhere for a longer period of time, but not reproduce, then that's something that might happen within the next 50 years or so. But if the idea is to construct a self-sustaining environment where humans can persist indefinitely with only modest help from Earth, then I'd say this is very far in the future, if it is possible at all.
The next question comes from Jason. He asked, will there ever be a cure for Alzheimer's?
I'm not sure if there will be a cure per se, but I'm very hopeful that there will be a successful disease-modifying therapy for Alzheimer's disease within the next decade. We have now started prevention trials that are testing biological interventions even before people show clinical symptoms of the disease. And we don't have to cure Alzheimer's. We just need to delay dementia by 5 to 10 years. Estimates show that a 5-year delay in the terrible and expensive dementia stage of the disease would reduce Medicare dementia costs by nearly 50%. Most important, that would mean that many older people could die while out ballroom dancing rather than in nursing homes.
Will we use wearable technologies to detect our emotions?
Emotions involve biochemical and electrical signals that reach every organ in our bodies, allowing, for example, stress to impact our physical and mental health. Wearable technologies let us quantify the patterns in these signals over long periods of time. Over the next 20 years, wearables and analytics derived from them can dramatically reduce psychiatric and neurological disease.
Do you think we will one day be able to predict natural disasters such as earthquakes with warning times of days or hours?
Some natural disasters are easier to see coming than others. Hurricanes approach over days. Volcanoes often build up to an eruption over days to hours. Tornadoes strike within a few minutes. Earthquakes are perhaps the greatest challenge. What we know about the physics of earthquakes suggests that we will not be able to predict earthquakes days in advance. But what we can do is predict the damaging ground shaking just before it arrives and provide seconds to minutes of warning. Not enough time to get out of town, but enough time to get to a safe location.
Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Okay, Professor Clark in the listening was a futurologist. You know, futurologist is a person who studies social, political, and technical developments to understand what may happen in the future. All right, so question number 1. Over the next few centuries, it's quite possible that and the body may be replaced. So over the next few centuries, it's quite possible that nearly every tissue in the body may be replaced. This is exactly what Professor mentioned. Number 2, if it means having humans live elsewhere for a longer period of time, then that's something that might happen. If it means having humans live elsewhere for a longer period of time but not reproduce, then that's something that might happen. Number 3, wearable technologies let us in these signals over long periods of time. Wearable technologies let us quantify the patterns in these signals over long periods of time. Number 4, what we know about suggests that we will not be able to predict earthquakes. What we know about the physics of earthquakes suggests that we will not be able to predict earthquakes. Number 5, I'm very hopeful that there will be a successful for Alzheimer's disease. I'm very hopeful that there will be a successful disease-modifying therapy for Alzheimer's disease. Part B. Listen again and answer the following questions. You can listen once more and answer the questions, but I'm going to read the questions and answer them. Number 1, what 2 diseases do scientists believe they will be able to deal with successfully in the near future? Well, the 2 diseases are Alzheimer's disease and dementia. Number 2, how does it sound to establish an almost perfect society in the space without much help from the Earth? Well, this is far in the future if it is possible at all, according to Professor. What would reduce the Medicare dementia costs by half? I'm going to tell you the meaning of Medicare and other terms that Professor used in his responses to the questions, right after we talked about the questions. So, number 3, what would reduce the Medicare dementia costs by half? A 5-year delay. A 5-year delay in the terrible and expensive dementia stage of disease can or would reduce the costs, Medicare costs. Number 4, what kinds of diseases will be largely reduced by the help of wearables? Psychiatric and neurological diseases. What kinds of diseases will be largely reduced? Psychiatric and neurological diseases. Question 5, what can be done about earthquakes? What can be done about earthquakes? Well, we can predict the damaging ground shaking just before it arrives and provide seconds to minutes of warning. So, we can predict the damaging ground shaking just before it arrives and provide seconds to minutes of warning. All right, according to the listening, there were some phrases and words I'm going to talk about that may help you understand the recording better. Well, the first one is plastic-based tissues. Plastic-based tissues are the tissues made of plastic that is used in plastic surgery. Next one, clinical trials. Clinical trials are research studies that are performed in people when a new drug is being developed. So they are research studies that are performed or done in people when a new drug is being developed, just like the vaccine that is that has been developed, and in the first place they tried it on animals, then on human being, in order to see if it is effective enough. Next one is self-sustaining. self-sustaining environment. Self-sustaining environment is an environment that is able to continue to succeed and grow without help or money from outside. It's an environment that is able to continue to succeed and grow without help or money from outside. Next word is per se. Per se means considered alone, not with other connected things. For example, money per se can't bring happiness. Money alone, or money as considered alone, can't bring happiness. Per se means alone, considered alone, by itself. Next word is biological interventions. Biological interventions. It's type of treatment using drugs that are made of living organisms. A type of treatment using drugs that are made of living organisms. Next one is Medicare. Medicare or Medicaid is a system in the United States by which the government helps to pay the cost of medical treatment for poor people or the ones above 65. Next one, wearables. Wearables are the computers that are designed to be worn as an item of clothing. Wearables are computers that are designed to be worn as an item of clothing. Next one, psychiatric disease. Psychiatric disease. They are kind of mental diseases, mental illnesses. Psychiatric. Pay attention to the pronunciation of the word. Psychiatric is adjective. The noun is psychiatry. Psychiatry. The person is psychiatrist. Psychiatrist. Just the adjective has got kind of different pronunciation. Psychiatric. And also a volcano eruption. A volcano eruption. It's an occasion when a volcano explodes and flames and rocks come out of it. All right. I hope these words will help you understand listening better. Okay, that's enough for now. Next time we are going to catch up on the grammar and the other